Alright, Dark Angels fans, you got a little taste of a Fallen from your chapter, but now, oh now, a certified 100% loyalist Dark Angel has dropped. Welcome to the channel, this is Screws and Studs, and today we have a big boy action figure to take a look at in the form of the Grandmaster of the Deathwing, otherwise known as Belial. Ever since the promo pictures came in for this redesigned special character, I knew I needed to get my hands on him. So now, let's see if he is worth the anticipation and the wait. What Grandmaster would be complete without a standard, and Belial is definitely rocking a mean, bespoke one with an ornate Dark Angels chapter symbol full of shading as well as great detail. So with regards to the head, instead of a regular Terminator helmet, Belial can either rock a bare head or with this hood or this half kind of collar thing. The hood can be fit over the head area right here as I'm demonstrating to you right now, and this collar just goes underneath the bare head. So anyways, the bareheaded version is rocking a widow's peak as pronounced as Azrael's. I do find that the stern expression on his face to be appropriate and befitting for a Grandmaster of his level and stature. However, I can't help but notice that JoyToy may have screened on this right eye a little bit off because he looks like he has a lazy eye. I am really liking the design of the right pauldron because it screams Belial's personal badassness in that he has a banner with his name on it. I feel immersed in the depth of shading that is present on the wing areas of this winged sword. Then moving down to the arm area, I'm really happy that JoyToy kept the same painting design from the old Deathwing Knights, in that you have this base bone color that has been shaded up towards the edges of the armor. The left side, where you usually find the Crux Terminatus, is completely obscured by this dark green cloth, but there's an interesting gradient where it goes from a near black to a dark green. Belial's broad chest is marked with this very dark green cloth. I do enjoy the rather interesting color patterning where the highest edges are black, but the recesses are a dark green. I thought it was supposed to be the other way around, but it does make for a unique take on things. Of note, there's this interesting pin-like thing on the shoulder that appears to anchor the plastic on the right shoulder right here. And you can also loop this cord around this pin that also anchors the tilt or heraldic shield as I am demonstrating to you right now. Speaking of the heraldic shield, I think the shading here is absolutely fantastic. Now with the waist area, there's a ton of stuff going on, so let's break it down one by one. First of all, there's the scabbard for the Sword of Silence. The gold designs over here match really well with the brown of the scabbard too. You can also pull the sword out of the scabbard like this. However, as I've demonstrated to you, it only contains the top section of the sword. The belt buckle is a nice gold color that stands out against the bone colored armor. Then there is a functional scabbard for the dagger too, and this is the dagger when it is unsheathed. Then as you can see, this tabard here is an extension of the cloth around the chest area and contains the same design cues. Then pulling back this monster's cape, you will see that Belial has 3 tassets along with another back tabard, giving this figure more definition. Now the legs are the least decorated area of this action figure, mostly because they're covered up by all this crazy plastic. When you peel back the onion, you will see more of this lovely shading gradient here, as well as some choice spikes. Then on the right side, you have this unique looking, I'm gonna say Crux Terminatus, with an elongated lower area and these swords here in the back. I'm really loving the dry brushing and texturing that can be seen on the Crux too. Now the power plant area looks fantastic in that it reminds me of a medieval type window design. This is definitely much better looking than the regular slats that make up the vents on the other normal Terminators. Now as we are on the back area, I'm gonna straight up say that this gigantic piece of plastic that is supposed to represent the cape or cloth simultaneously looks great and kind of annoys the shit out of me. I love how the paint job of JoyToy is on full display with the black and the dark green areas. Plus this cape is a cornucopia of textures for your eyes to take in. Then when you flip around the cape, you get more of this monotoned maroon, but I think it fits so well with the aesthetic of the figure. So what exactly about this thing that annoys me? Well, it is literally sprawling and spilling everywhere. It looks like JoyToy decided to link all the sections together, starting off with this area is pinned to this back area. This back area is then pinned to the part on the shoulder. So unfortunately, with all this pinning and binding, it means that there's going to be motion restriction, which is a shame for such a fantastic looking figure. I suppose some of the motion restriction can be alleviated by removing this loop so Belial can move this stuff back and forth, but you still can't get full 360-degree rotation without stressing probably this part where it is connected to this back part. And the same goes for this side as well. Now, the Sword of Silence is a spicy-looking master-crafted power sword if I have ever seen one. The gunmetal of the middle of the blade is especially dark and menacing looking. I'm a big fan of how the bindings on this handle are rad because this type of design is not normally seen in other more plebeian power swords. Now, while the Stormbolter is not impressive as the Sword of Silence, it is still an imposing and chunky piece of machinery. I like the shading that can be found on the groove areas of the red casing. However, one drawback is that I noticed this lack of shading that is typically found in the gunmetal areas, which makes this firearm look a bit bland. The strap here is a nice touch, which adds to the variety of wielding and displaying the action figure. And finally, you can actually remove the twin magazine of this weapon as well, as I am demonstrating to you right now. Let's compare some sizes of some other action figures to this new one. So this version 3 Primaris Space Marine looks comically short compared to this very heroic stature of Belial. And then we have Titus over here on the right-hand side, which is also dwarfed by the large size of this special character. Now, Belial is the same height as this Primaris Terminator. The old Deathwing Knights are going to be shorter than Belial right here, which I suppose shouldn't come as a surprise because this Terminator was based on the older version. Yep, this figure of Belial was definitely worth the anticipation for sure. JoyToy once again did a fantastic job of converting the GW Mini up to this action figure scale. I think that the Sword of Silence, the Master Crafted Stormbolter, as well as how the armor is shaded are definitely shining points on this action figure. I also think that, in all honesty, the cloth of the cape is quite impressive because this thing is almost an entity on into itself. However, as I said during the review, I think that the cape is rather bothersome due to the size of it, as well as the way it attaches to the action figure, as well as how it attaches to itself. However, this drawback is not enough to detract from the fact that I think that this is a fantastic figure that I would say not only for Warhammer 40K Dark Angels action figure collectors to get, but also for people who love unique characters in Terminator armor as well. So where should you get this action figure? Well, there's only one place to get it at, and that is at David Toys. Just go to the link in the description below, or you will be brought to their online website. David Toys happens to be a very strong channel supporter that I market every single time I do these action figure reviews, just because they have excellent customer service and they also have fast and free shipping. And finally, do not forget to use my affiliate code SNS to receive 12% off of your purchase. All right, members of the chapter, as usual, I want to know what you think about this action figure in the comments section below. Do you think that this is going to be worth your hard-earned money to get, or are you going to be keeping your money in your pocket? For those of you who have bought this action figure already, what are your favorite parts about him? And what are your least favorite parts? I would like to know once again. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching this action figure review, members of the chapter. We have many, many more new action figures that are coming. We're definitely finishing out the year with a big bang. So with that being said, I'll see you all in the next one.